In Math with McComish today, we're going to go over how we can use an expression to create a table of values. But first, an expression is just basically the pattern rule written using a variable. So a few examples of this: if I had 2a, that means basically 2 multiplied by whatever a is. Okay, we use a variable because it could be a changing amount. This one here would be 5 multiplied by a number, which we represent as r, subtract 2. And finally, v plus 4 would be a number plus 4. So that's what those expressions kind of represent. Now, when we're given a pattern rule and a table of values, we can use that pattern rule to create the table of values. So if I had an input of 1 here, and my pattern rule, it says, is times 3 plus 2, which could also represent it as 3r plus 2 if the input was r. So instead of r, I'm actually going to put the value from the input, so 1. So this first one right here would be 3 times 1 plus 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So that's what my output would be. For the second one, it would be 3 times 2 plus 2, which would give me 6 plus 2 is 8. The next one would be 3 times 3 plus 2 would give me 11. And careful with that last one, it jumps to 20. So it would be 3 times 20 plus 2, which would be 62. So that's how I would use that pattern rule to complete that table. If I was given another pattern rule, times 4, subtract 3, possibly written as 4n minus 3, I'd do the same thing. So if I took 1, I would multiply it by 4 and subtract 3. 1 times 4 is 4, minus 3 is 1 again. For this one, I would put 2 in instead of n. So 4 times 2 is 8, minus 3 is 5. 4 times 3 for the next one is 12, minus 3 is 9. So I am increasing by 4 on these until this one, because it jumped to 20. 4 times 20 is 80, minus 3 is 77. So that would be that table of values from that pattern rule. Sometimes you might have to make your own table, and you can decide what to put in for your input. I could put in 0 for my input. I would go, for this one, 5 times whatever that is, plus 1. So 5 times 0 plus 1 is 0, plus 1 is 1. If I put 1 in for my input, 5 times 1 plus 1 would give me 6. And I'm increasing by 5 on these. So you can make your own table of values from it. All right, if you want to give these a try, just pause the video, try them, and I'm going to put the answers right away. Okay, so if you've tried those, here are possible solutions for this. If I put maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 for that, this one's going to be multiplied by 4, subtract 3. So 1 times 4 is 4, minus 3 is 1. 2 times 4 is 8, minus 3 is 5. 3 times 4 is 12, minus 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16, minus 3 is 13. This next one is, the rule is multiply by 3 and add 1. So 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 3 times 3 plus 1 is 10. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So that would be the table of values for that one. And that is creating a table of values from pattern rules.